What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. I have the top 55 scores on this tier list. Today we're going to talk about whether these players are overrated, underrated, properly rated, or a little bit overrated or a little bit underrated. Let's talk about that even more. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoy the video. Yeah, top 55. A lot of players here. Sorry if some players kind of get breezed through a little bit compared to others. Some might get 5 minutes, some may get half a minute. Sorry, that's just how it goes. We're starting off the list with P. Rabbit, Peyton Pritchard, and I'm going to put him in a little underrated. I don't think he's overly, amazing. He's a great six-man of the year type guy who's starting, I believe, still this year. Yeah, Anthony Simons still coming off the bench. Him and Anthony Simons have kind of an interchangeable skill set where they can both, if one of them's getting off and scoring, they can give you 40 and a win real quick. If they're not, Peyton Pritchard's horrible defensively, so that kind of comes with a drawback, but he's also one of the best passers, maybe the best passer on the Celtics right now. Always love when Peyton Pritchard gets into the lane, hits a little fade away from inside the free throw line. He does it once a game, and it's always fun to watch because he is the shortest player on the court, no matter who we're facing. I'm a Celtics fan. No matter who the Celtics face, Peyton Pritchard is the shortest player on the court, it seems. You face the Knicks, Jalen Brunson's taller than him, and Jalen Brunson's considered an undersized guard. So it's always fun when an undersized guard can really start to get off and score in bunches and stuff like that. I think Peyton Pritchard's a little underrated because he's a good enough starting point guard, but only a little bit underrated because people know how good he is, how he can score. I mean, he won Six-Man of the Year last year. People know who he is. Alex Sarr is fully underrated because I don't feel like the Wizards get talked about a lot. I mean, they do now because they landed Trae Young, and so now there's a marquee player, whatever you want to call Trae Young. Sarr was good last year in his rookie year. He averaged, I think over 2 blocks per game. He was a good rim protector last year, an iffy three-point shooter. Now I feel like he's getting better offensively, more comfortable offensively, but as a rim protector, I mean, he's just getting better and better, it seems. I don't know how else to describe it. My NBA comparison coming out, and I think a lot of people had this comparison, was like an Evan Mobley type of player, and he's looking more and more like him every day, except for the fact that I think Sarr might become better offense. He might lap Evan Mobley offensively, sorry. But like I said, he's still underrated because people don't look up Wizards stats. If we went by NBA teams who had the most searches, in Google search history, I think the Wizards might be last. And Alex Sarr is just an unfortunate byproduct of being drafted to a team that doesn't get much media hype. He's a really damn good player, and he deserves more attention. He deserves all-star votes this year, but he's not even going to come close, I don't think. But he deserves all the praise that he doesn't get, that I should be giving him right now. Again, amazing rim protector, can stretch the floor, can be physical underneath, and blocks a lot of shots. Super productive player. I really like Alex Sarr. I'm going to put Vooch in a little underrated. I feel like he's so overhated that he's become underrated a little bit. You know what I mean? He's a guy that not a lot of people like because he's not a defensive big. And a lot of people, even including myself, love the archetype of the defensive big who blocks shots and can switch on the perimeter and knock down threes and, your Miles Turners or your Bam Adebayo types. Vucevic isn't either one of them. He's awful defensively. He's like Valanciunas with a bigger bag, right? But I do think Vucevic in the right situation, Golden State is a perfect situation in my opinion, would be a place where he could flourish because he's looked damn good on the Bulls with Giddey setting him up and Kobe White setting him up. It'd be interesting to see him in a system where he can play the stretch 5 role still, and they need a rebounder. They need a physical big down low who can rebound. Vooch isn't going to block shots, but he can rebound the ball. I get it, the contract's not perfect. He's making 30 mil or whatever, 25 million. It's not ideal, don't get me wrong, and especially with the apron set up the way it is, you can't afford to pay a guy like him so much money when he's not the most productive player, and he is a bit of a void defensively. But in the right system, Vooch would be cherished and loved as the quality player that he is. Put Stephon Castle in a little overrated. He's not overrated fully where it's this is a bad player masquerading as a great player. No. This is a really good potential player that people are putting in higher conversations than he deserves right now, in my opinion. I think he's a very talented player. I just think he's still a young guard, so he's going to make young guard mistakes, high turnover rates and such. I love that he's been an amazing passer this year. He's averaging 7 assists per game. The issue is that he's a little bit over 3.5 turnovers per game as well. He's just a young guard who's still learning how to play the position properly and everything like that. I love the pairing with him and Victor Wembanyama. He is a staple to the Spurs franchise, but today, Stephon Castle, he's an iffy shooter with a higher turnover rate. He's not an all-star caliber guy today, in my opinion. Not today, but again, future piece, future all-star, has all the markings of being the future point guard for the Spurs. I don't hate the guy. I really love him. It's just right now, today, it's like, I don't know about all-star conversation. He also is a fan of hacking. He averages over three fouls per game comfortably. Like, he can get down and dirty defensively. He's a very good defender. That's what kind of makes me want to put him in properly rated, is the fact that he is a really good defender. I'm talking him up a lot and calling him a little overrated. It's just because, like, he's still really, really young, and there's some parts of his game that he can definitely work on and improve. Bam Adebayo is properly rated, because I don't know where he's rated anymore is my issue. What's the general public gauge on Bam Adebayo? My view on Bam Adebayo is a guy who can help anchor your defense, but is not a top, like, 3 scorer on your team. If he's your 3rd scorer, I don't think you're in a bad spot. But if you need him to be a 20-a-game guy, you're going to be disappointed every night. He's not going to be a 20-a-game guy, right? And I am really disappointed in the fact that him and Khalil Ware in the front court hasn't worked out very well. Whether that be Khalil being young and kind of boneheaded at times, or Bam Adebayo not being able to properly stretch the floor enough for it to work, I don't know. But realistically, that feels like a pairing that should work. Bam should be able to work at the 4. It's just he really hasn't at times in some lineups. I think he's properly rated, though, because, like, most people know what to expect out of Bam. Good defense, but, like, not 20 a game. He's a decent passer. Everyone knows he's a decent passer too, a decent rebounder. But he's just, like, he's kind of in the middle. Yeah, I think he's properly rated. Andrew Nembhard's going in. I'm going to put him in underrated, period. The Pacers aren't great, but if you look at Andrew Nembhard's numbers, he's averaging like 17.5 points, along with like 7 assists and only 2 turnovers. Like, that's really good. Those are really good numbers on paper right there. I get it. The Pacers aren't the best team right now, but again, some of his box scores are like legit, like, whoa, he's doing that? I'm talking like a 29 and 10, or what did he have? I think he had 30 a few games ago. Yeah, against Miami, he had 29. That's basically 30. And then against New Orleans, he had 19 and 10. Like, those are very well-rounded stat lines, and he's a damn good passer. He's a damn good player. Like, even his brother Ryan is hooping in Dallas right now. Like, the Nembhard family tree is like, they are very similar. Like, they even play together. Like, they play like the same player, Ryan and Andrew Nembhard. They can kill in the mid-range. Andrew Nembhard, though, has taken a big step up in three-point shooting, I've noticed. Obviously, with Tyrese Halliburton down, they've needed somebody to step up. And again, while they haven't been good, the Pacers don't make this a Pacers issue. They stink as a team, but Andrew Nembhard's not the reason why. He's still a pretty decent defender. And he, like I said, this guy won I think he won Defensive Player of the Month last year at some point. He's a good defender. He's a good passer, and he can score the ball a little bit, 17.5 a game. Like, he checks all the boxes of, like, that's a good traditional point guard right there. Everyone always talks about how they want a table setter point guard. Andrew Nembhard is like that. He kind of is. I know he scores a little bit more. 17.5 is a little high, but he's on a team without many scoring threats. He has to be one. Nembhard's a good player. Moving on to Chet Holmgren. I think Chet is properly rated. People know he's an elite rim protector. I think the one part that I disagree with is I think he's still the odds betting favorite for Defensive Player of the Year when it shouldn't be. It should be Rudy Gobert. But either way, Chet is an amazing power forward. He's not a center yet. That's one thing he still hasn't really rounded out, is the fact that he's not a center yet. They need Isaiah Hartenstein for a reason. It's because Chet's not the strongest rebounding type big man, but he blocks shots. Again, this Alex Sarr, Evan Mobley, Chet Holmgren type build, where it's like a lengthy ass 4 who can shuffle on the perimeter a little bit and block shots. People may call him overrated because of where people's expectations were for him, but me personally, my expectations were never that high for Chet Holmgren. I never expected him to take a jump into like a 23 point per game scorer this season. It's just, the lane's not open for him to do that. He's not on a tanking or bad team. He's not going to get infinite shot attempts. It's a team that's looking to win the finals. They're not going to change their entire offensive game plan just so that way Chet can get his numbers up. Mark Daignault's not that silly. I think Chet is properly rated amongst NBA fans. The ones that call him overrated have an argument because he does have deficiencies, but I don't know. I don't think he's underrated, and I definitely don't think he's overrated. People know that he's a damn good rim protector and a good enough offensive player who can sometimes get hot. Jalen Duren is a little underrated. No, I think I'd put him in properly rated too, because he might make the All-Star game this year, and you're not going to make the All-Star game and get called underrated at the same time. He is what he is. An elite rebounding big man, an elite paint protector, not a rim protector, but a paint protector, I guess I'll call him. He is fast enough on the perimeter. He can move a little bit, and he's taking more jump shots. He has trust in his ability to knock down a jumper, which I really love to see. He is maybe like the heart and soul of the Detroit Pistons. I know Cade's the engine that makes everything go, but like really Jalen Duren is like he is what I envision when I think of Detroit Pistons basketball. This physical, gritty team that rebounds the hell out of the ball. And where do they get that identity from? From the guy that looks, I don't even know how to describe him. He looks like a G.I. Joe action figure. He's so freaking ripped. Right, he's gigantic. He's got broad shoulders. It looks like he's wearing shoulder pads. Jalen Duren's a monster. He's probably gonna make the All-Star game, so I kind of have to properly rate him. Like he's a really, really good player. Like this was a rough, not even in the rough find. I think he was a late lottery pick type out of Memphis. He was really damn good, and I still view him as a future, like he's the staple guy. Him and Isaiah Stewart front court is so fun to watch. Evan Mobley's tough, because the NBA fan consensus around him is probably like up here right now. Let's be honest with each other. Like, people don't like Evan Mobley right now. I'm going to put him one down. He's not fully overrated because he is elite defensively. What Evan Mobley does well, he's great at. Defensively, he's fucking nails, dude. I saw him put the straps on Joel Embiid once or twice down the stretch of their game when Jalen Tyson decided to be Kobe Bryant for a day. He's a little bit overrated because of the fact that he was Defensive Player of the Year last year, and he was put very high on a lot of people's lists, including mine. He was the number 2 power forward on my list, I believe. It's a little disappointing this season because it's kind of a step back, but it's not. It's just because it wasn't a step forward, right? This wasn't the step forward we expected from what his trainer had said about him to what other people had said about him and expectations were. It is a down step from where expectations were. So I kind of have to put him in a little overrated, but he's not up here because he still is a damn good defender. Do I put both of my Celtics guards in underrated? I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it, guys. Derek White, nah, he's got to go in a little overrated because right now he is tasked with doing too much. And I think everyone likes Derek White. I don't think anyone, besides Miami Heat fans. Miami Heat fans may see him in their nightmares. But Derek White is a good player, but not an elite player. He's a jack of all trades. He can score, kinda. He's struggling efficiency-wise this year. His efficiency's terrible. That's the entire downside with Derek White this year. With the increase in workload and need for Derek White to score, it has come with the impact of, like, you're not always getting his best defensive effort, even though he is a really good defender, the best shot blocking guard in the NBA, and it's not even close who number 2 is, in my opinion. Here and there, you're going to get some low-light defensive moments and some moments where it's like, oh, that wasn't D. White's best play I've ever seen, because he's tasked with doing a lot more than he should be. This is a role player who's been thrust into, like, secondary ball handler behind Jaylen Brown. You know, second leading scorer behind Jaylen Brown. That's a big role shift for him, you know? And when Tatum comes back and his role decreases a little bit more, I think we'll go back to seeing, like, really good Derek White, you know? But as for right now, it's like, I don't know. He's not scoring efficiently. He's being tasked with doing just too much with the ball right now, and that's not his fault. It's a roster construction issue and a Jason Tatum injury issue more than it is a Derek White issue. But as for right now, I have to put him in a little bit overrated because while he is still a top 55 scorer in the NBA, he's not doing it very well. Amen Thompson being a top 50 scorer actually shocked me. I can't lie to you. I think Amen Thompson's going to go in properly rated because he's good for 1 airball a game. It feels like he airballs 1-3 per game. He took a top of the key 3 the other day, and that shit, if there was a kid sitting front row, he would have got hit, right? It was not a pretty jumper. And he doesn't have a pretty jumper in general. Like, it's not the most beautiful thing ever. He is very aggressive getting to the rim still. And that's the one thing I really like. If you can't shoot, you have to be able to make yourself available still. And he does a good job of that. I think he recognizes his flaw because if he didn't, I mean, self-awareness at 0 if he doesn't know he can't shoot. But he's still an elite defender. And he's still a good rebounder. And he's still uber athletic. And he still can dribble. He checks a lot of boxes, except for the one that's just the shooting part of the game. He's a good passer now. Like, he's developed into a solid enough passer to lead their unit. Like, I don't know. I think Amen Thompson is a fairly rated player. I think he could have been put a little bit overrated because, like, yeah, I mean, he was expected to be an all-star, all-NBA guy by now. Like, people had really high expectations for him, but me personally, I really didn't. I thought he was really good. I just didn't think he was, like, up there. The fact that he's in top 50 scores, the top 55 scores in the NBA, actually kind of makes me feel like he's underrated, but I'm not going to put him down there. This motherfucker, since he's gone to Atlanta, he has hijacked the entire team, and it feels like he went into business for himself. I mean, he went Hulk Hogan. That's not going to work for me, brother, when they told him, like, not to shoot 55 shots a night. He's attempted, I saw in his first, like, 2 or 3 games, he had over 50 shot attempts total. What is happening? Why is Jalen Johnson taking a backseat to CJ fucking McCollum in 2026, no less? I don't know. It's disgusting, and I like CJ McCollum. He's a low turnover guy who can score, but no. After his recent play, no. Get him out of my face, please. Get him out of Atlanta. DFA him. That's a baseball term. DFA him. Jaren's underrated. I know he's a trade target right now, but I think a lot of people hate Jaren because of his deficiencies. He is very similar to Evan Mobley, where he's this forward that can block shots and play good defense, but ask him to grab 5 rebounds, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, whoa, that's too much, dog. At least Mobley can be a double-double candidate. Jaren ain't never getting a double-double with rebounds, dog. He's averaging like 4. I think in a good situation, Jaren could be a very good player, though, like in Boston or something like that, where like they have a center, Kata, who can rebound the ball. You don't need Jaren to do that. If they had Zach Edey, if the Grizzlies had Zach Edey back, people would hardly notice Jaren not rebounding. It's just because of the fact that Jock Landale is starting that they're realizing, holy shit, this team can't rebound, and Jaren's not helping. What he doesn't do with rebounding, he's a really good scorer. Loves to spin left, loves to go left despite being right-handed, I believe. He has a little bit of a funky jumper, but like it goes in. So are you going to be mad? Like Halliburton has an ugly jumper, but if it goes in, are you really mad? He can create with the ball. He can block shots. You know what I mean? He's an elite rim protector still, even though his block numbers won't say that. He is a really good defender. I think Jaren's underrated because of the fact that everyone kills him for being Mr. No Boards, which is a really reasonable thing to dislike a player for. You are 6'10". Get your ass down there and get me 7 rebounds at least, please. Quote the great Bill Walton. It's news to me when a guy that's 7 foot doesn't get a double-double, not when they do get a double-double. Get your ass down there and grab some board. Cooper Flagg is a little underrated, and it's just because Dallas ain't great, but like people aren't watching them a ton. But Coop consistently has been having great games for the last like month. He's been consistently great at getting to the rim, finishing through contact, and passing, which is a new development. Shout out to Jason Kidd playing him at point guard. But silently, Cooper Flagg has been elite for like a month now, averaging well over 20 a game since December 1. So he's been on a tear, and he's a good defender. He's a 2+ stock per game guy. He checks all the boxes right now. Cooper Flagg is showing generational talent every time he takes the court. Desmond Bane, to me, is going to go in overrated because when he's hot, and he's hard to stop. You can't get him off the three-point line. He's tracing the thing like a good artist, you know, and he's knocking down these threes, hitting tough mid-ranges all the time. But when Desmond Bane is bad, I feel like no one talks about it. I have the stats pulled up in front of me just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Since the start of the new year, January 1, Desmond Bane's averaging 18, 4, and 4. On paper, that's not bad. Shooting 46 from the field and 29 from 3. Things are not going well there. He's not shooting the 3 ball very well. Free throws are going down relatively sometimes. I mean, he did it. He's having 4 of 6 in 8 of 8 games. Like, that's good enough. But he has these bad games where he can shoot you out of a game. He's a damn good player, but he has some nights where he can shoot you out of a game. I think he's just overly relied upon to be an elite shooter in Orlando because they don't have many. You know what I mean? Franz is back, and he's been knocking down threes, so hopefully that'll help a little bit. I think he was better when it was just him and Franz, really, than when it was him and Paolo, but that's a different discussion for a different day. Desmond Bane, I think he's a little overrated, but I could move him down, but I think he's overrated just because it's one of those things where it's like he is a guy that when he's playing terribly, No one really notices. DeMar's going to go in a properly rated. No one cares about DeMar DeRozan in God's year 2026. This is a guy who doesn't average a lot of turnovers, but will score the ball, can pass the ball, mid-range maestro. DeMar's been the same player for about a decade now. If you don't know who he is, how? No, he's a playoff choker. Like, that's been established. That's just a common thread in his career. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of who he is. Conrad is properly rated. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, but he is showing that he's a future piece in this league. He is going to help lead the Hornets. Like, he already seems like a good locker room help there. They're a much more competitive team this year than they have been over the last few, which is definitely a step up, and Khan's a big reason why. He's an elite shooter. He can score with the ball now off the dribble. He's showing a lot this year. Khan has showed a lot this year. I'm a big fan of his. Miles Bridges is so overrated. I don't think anyone really I don't think people really rate Miles Bridges. Unless you're doing a domestic abuse tier list, then you'd have to be rating Miles Bridges. I don't think anyone's really... I have to put allegedly in that. Do I? I don't know anymore. Miles Bridges is fine sometimes. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of his. He's not the greatest defender in the world. He's a bigger body, but I don't feel like he uses that often. Like, when they play the Bucks, I feel like he should be the guy guarding Giannis, but he never really is. It's like Musa. I think, here's a hot take for you. When the Hornets were doing that little sell-a-thon that they were doing, where they got rid of like P.J. Washington and Mark Williams and stuff like that, Miles Bridges should have been gone with P.J. Washington, and they probably should have just kept P.J. Washington. Another hot take there. I don't think they decided to keep a core of like him and LaMelo, and that was it. And it was like, yeah, that'll do it. No, it won't. No, it won't. LaMelo, Terry Rozier, and Miles Bridges ain't bringing it nowhere. That's just the funny moments in Hornets history. But I put him in overrated just because, like, I don't watch Miles Bridges and think, damn, that's a great basketball player right there. I look at him and go, pass the fucking ball. Josh Giddey's a little overrated. Yeah, he's averaging a ton of triple-doubles. He's still ass defensively, like still horrible defensively. And I'm not sure if he's the one on a team. I know there's not a lot of competent pieces around him, but like they aren't good when he's on the court. Like that, the Bulls aren't that good, period. Whether Josh Giddey's on or off, it's not making a difference. The Bulls are kind of ass. But I'm not the biggest Josh Giddey guy because, like, he's very ball dominant. He is shooting better from three, which gives me a lot of hope this year, the fact that he has been able to stretch the defense a little bit. But I think he's just a little bit overrated because he is a high-usage guy. He is a guy that has the ball in his hands a lot. He is a guy that runs the break well. He does a lot of things really well. But I don't know. A lot of people are like, yeah, he missed a triple-double. And it's like, his triple-doubles, to me, feel a little bit different. I don't know how to describe it. Another caveat to this list was I think everyone here is averaging, most of this list is averaging at least 18 plus. But if you ask Josh Giddey, I don't think he really wants 18 plus. All right, we're on to the next one. Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is actually underrated. He's just underrated because nobody in America talks about Canada like that. Sorry, Canucks. Sorry, guys. But Scotty Barnes, Scotty Air Barney, Scotty B, whatever you call him, he's amazing. There are some things that I wish he would get better at in his game. Like, he is still a stiff dribbler, but he is very, like, robotic dribbling the ball still sometimes. He dribbles pretty high, too, at times, but the percentages only say 32%. That's not ideal, but he's elite defensively. He's a good passer. He's a guy that's tasked with doing a lot of things for the Raptors offense. Including being like a good post scorer. They rely on him for a lot of paint points. He's a fan of jump hooks and shit, which is a little weird. He has a funky bag. Scotty Barnes has a funky bag is how I'm going to describe it. It's a little bit unorthodox, right? But he can score in bunches still. He can hit the mid-range a little bit. His threes, like I said, a little bit rough, but he can hit one here and there. Scotty Barnes is what I would describe as like is like Josh Hart. Scotty Barnes is like Josh Hart, but better. You know what I mean? He passes well, he rebounds well, he defends well. Josh Hart's hitting his threes this year. I'm not sleeping on Josh Hart's shooting ability this year. He's like a 40%er guy. But like he does everything a little bit better than Josh Hart does. And he's just a jack of all trades type. And defensively, don't even get me started on Scotty Barnes' defense. A defensive player of the year vote getter still, in my opinion. Zach LaVine's properly rated in the fact that like nobody really likes him that much. I don't know. Zach LaVine is an interesting player because he doesn't defend very well. He doesn't pass very well. He can score in bunches, and that's just about it. That's Zach LaVine, you know? That's why he's properly rated. I think it's because nobody's sitting here pounding the table like Zach LaVine changes your team if you get him. But at the same time, it's like, well, he's still going to average 20-something on good efficiency. So I don't know. How much can you hate that guy when you know what you're going to get? Melo Ball is a tad overrated, but I think it's just because for me, it's like his style of play here and there. He takes wild shots for no reason. Ill-advised bad shots. 1-foot jumpers from 3 sometimes when it's not needed, you know? That's just, it's weird. His style of play is very street ball, and street ball is fun. It's fun as hell to watch. He had a great game against the Lakers not that long ago, playing a lot of street ball type stuff. But at the end of the day, I think there's things that I would like to see him do better, like get in a defensive stance, you know, do that. You know, he has good ball skills and can jump passing lanes, but like in terms of man-to-man defense, sometimes it gets a little rough for him. And especially like on a Tuesday game against Washington, he really looks like he don't give a shit on defense some nights. And I get it. Some days you don't want to lock in. Some days you do. At work, I feel you. Some days we all go to work and we're just like, bro, I'm just here for the check. But man, could you give a fuck about defense or something like that? Like sometimes he's just too cool for school, and that's his mentality. And that's kind of an issue with me sometimes, is that he's just too cool for the NBA at times. Jimmy Butler, this is gonna make me sick, guys. I might actually puke doing this, but Jimmy Butler's a little bit underrated simply because like the Warriors have him in a lose-lose situation. You know, he doesn't want to score a ton because he's not the main option. Steph Curry's there to score a ton. Your young guys were supposed to be scoring a ton. They really aren't. I want Jimmy Butler to be a 20-a-game guy, but that's not going to happen anymore. He's like 38. Shit's not happening. But he's really good defensively. He holds up really well defensively. He has to guard, unfortunately, up. He has to guard a lot of bigs a lot of the time because the Warriors don't have bigs. Quentin Post is their best big, and then it's Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, that's pretty bad, you know? That's not a great situation. And so Jimmy Butler has to guard up a lot, and it doesn't make for an ideal playing condition for him, I guess, when you have to guard bigs a lot of the time. That's the only reason why I put him in underrated a little bit, but I think the general public knows that, like, Jimmy Butler can score sometimes, and he gets a lot of his points at the line. He's a big free throw guy. Nikhil is properly rated. Because, you know what, I don't want to put him in overrated just because he's having such a good year, and I don't want to put down a young guy. Nikhil is properly rated. People know that he's scoring well this year. They're hip to him being a good scorer this year, and the fact that he's been able to create with the ball and, you know, go to the rim more often and stuff like that and feel comfortable helping run the offense. Nikhil looks more comfortable in Atlanta. De'Aaron Fox is a little bit underrated just because of how many good guards the Spurs have. You know, when you get 3 Lamborghinis in the fucking garage, you know, the one that's not the brightest might get a little bit less shine. They're spoiled with guard play in San Antonio is what I'm saying. The fact that they're so spoiled for guard play in San Antonio, to sometimes people just sleep on De'Aaron Fox being a clutch player of the year winner, that nobody gives a fuck about that award, dude. I'll reiterate for the 8th time. Nobody cares about that award, all right, for the 8th time. He's been clutch before. He's had playoff moments before, toe-to-toe with Steph Curry's, you know, stuff like that. He's a really good passer. He can create in the mid-range. When he's hitting his threes, really dangerous. If he can hit threes, he's so dangerous. And like I said, he's a really good passer. He knows situations, too. Like, he knows in-game situations. He has some game IQ. Like, he's one of the smarter guards on the Spurs when it comes to, like, it looks like Victor's open. I'm just going to throw it no matter what, and he's going to catch it. That's the best plan a lot of the time for the Spurs guards. If you got nothing, just throw it in the air and Wemby's going to find it. But the only reason he's in a little bit underrated for me is because of the fact that the Spurs have Harper and Castle that are like showing out this year and showing how great players they are going to be in the future. And so Fox kind of gets a little bit not lost in the shuffle because people know who he is, but it's like everyone else is getting shine and not many people are talking about De'Aaron, it feels like. He's having a great year. Dillon Brooks is just full on underrated to me. I know people know that he can score now, but the fact that he's still keeping up his defensive prowess and the fact that he's still generationally irritating, he is a generational irritant beyond belief. He's just really good defensively still, even though I don't think the box score plus minus really shows that as much this year, but I still think he can clamp up when needed. He's got a funky bag too a little bit, mainly because he has a hideous jumper that he like shoots with one hand. I don't know how else to describe it. I know you're not shooting with both, but you get what I mean. It's like he releases and his one hand's out here. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a weird looking jump, but he can create in the mid-range. He can knock down a 3. He can get to the rim. It's a funky bag, but Dillon Brooks really gets the job done, and he's holding it down for a Phoenix Suns team that has really kind of been a change of pace from what I expected out of them. They've had a really fun season, and they're a really fun team to watch. I wish them the best, man. That's a fun team. And him, Grayson Allen, Devin Booker, Colin Gillespie, Like, they got Royce O'Neal, they got an annoying-ass team, and they really leaned into that identity. And Dylan Brooks is a guy to help build identity, chemistry, and, like, a good team bond. He's good for, like, vibes and friendship, you know? He's good in the locker room. Paolo Banchero. Fuck it. A little underrated. Oh, I know. Everyone's been calling him so overrated for so long that now I'm trying to flip the script and call him underrated. I think his passing's gotten better, at least recently. Over his last 5 games, Paolo's had a 9-assist game, an 8-assist game, a 7-assist game, and a 6-assist game, and a 4-assist game. He just needs a 5-assist game in there. But he's showing his ability to pass, Paolo is. And on top of that, he's still not that efficient, but like 6 for 14 is like good enough for me, I guess. The only thing that makes me really want to pound my head on the table when I watch him is the fact that he's still not a reliable free throw shooter. If you're going to be a feature piece late in games, if you're going to be a closer for a team, you got to be able to hit a free throw, man. That's my biggest complaint with Paolo Banchero right now. He's slowly turning it around into being a plus NBA player after years of being called overrated. And I was kind of there and agreeing when he was called overrated. Now I feel like he's almost underrated a little bit because of how bad public perception is of him. It's kind of what I'm getting at. Cat is properly rated. I feel like it's kind of a Mr. Consistent. He is a Mr. Consistent, a guy that can score the ball. He can shoot the three, even though he had a nasty work air ball the other day late in the game against, I forget who they were facing. He had a nasty air ball from the top of the key that was like, oh God. No, it was the Phoenix game. It was their last game against Phoenix. Late in that game, he had an air ball from the top of the key when they were just trying to come back and they were just getting shots up. So in all things considered, I guess it's not the worst thing ever, but Cat is very properly rated. He's not an elite rim protector, but he is a good shooter. He's a good scorer, very reliable player. He's been consistently in the lineup too, and I think that kind of flies under the radar for big men. Games played is a big one for big men because they take most of the brunt force of basketball. They take the shoulders to the chest. They take the box outs that are the hard box outs and stuff like that. Alperen Sengun is a little overrated, not a lot overrated. He's not a great defender, all things considered, and I don't like his fit at the 4 that much because he's not that much of a reliable shooter. He can score. Alpi can get it going. Alpi's another guy that really bothers me from the free throw line, to be honest with you. I've watched him miss some clutch ones before. He's not a gimme at the line. Over his last 5 games, Alpi's 11 of 24 at the free throw line. At the free throw line, guys. The free throw line. It's unacceptable. That's unacceptable right there. If you want to close games, again, if you want to close games and be a feature piece in a tight game late, you got to be able to knock down a free throw. That's just where that comes. You have to be able to hit a free throw. That's the part that really gets me going about Alpi. But if he can play next to a big that can guard the rim, he's still really good. He still throws his flashy passes here and there, but I wish there was a little bit more, and I wish they were able to work him the ball in deeper post position, but it's really hard to do when they don't have floor spacers in Houston right now. They got Josh Okogie posting, taking corner threes, and just a litany of guys that I don't trust taking shots are taking shots. I think he just struggles from poor spacing on his roster and not a lot of passers on his roster that know how to get him the ball in deep post position because they don't have a true point guard right now. They haven't all season, in all fairness, but Alpi's a terrific player. It's just, I think they need to help him more if they want to optimize him is kind of what I'm getting at. Brandon Ingram is properly rated. He's a guy that I think a lot of people realize isn't like a one option on a championship team, but he is a tough shot maker and a tough shot taker, and he's a good mid-range shooter. He can pass a little bit. He's not the best defender I've ever seen, but in late-game scoring, the Raptors need, and it's been Brandon Ingram they've turned to every time. Anytime they need big late-game buckets, it's been Brandon Ingram they turn to this season, it feels like. Shaedon Sharpe over the last month has been a little bit underrated because he has flown under the radar as a really good scorer. He can get buckets in bunches, and he's shooting well from 3, and he's still a decent enough back cutter. He's a great cutter to the rim. He really fits the mold of what the Trailblazers need, and that's a crafty scorer that can go with Denny Avdia. Denny Avdia is a terrific player in his own right, but he's not always the shiftiest guy. He's not always open to get free with the ball. Shaedon's a guy that you can give him the ball with 3 seconds left and he'll somehow manage to get a decent look out of it. He's a real panic button for their offense. And when he gets downhill, you got to watch your head. You just got to watch your head. We all know Shaedon Sharpe can jump out of the gym, and he can shoot now. That's a really big difference maker in his game. I like Shaedon Sharpe a ton. Trey Murphy's a little underrated. He's not going to make the All-Star game, but he's putting up All-Star type of numbers. I know the Pelicans suck, and they allow him the ultimate green light. Trey Murphy has the most neon green light you will ever see from the coaching staff, and that's a plus for a young guy like him. If he got traded, I think people would see how good he is, but in New Orleans right now on a team that's not really that good, it's hard to gauge how good he is, I guess. I keep saying good and I don't like it, but I don't know how else to phrase it. He's a good defender. I keep using fucking good. Oh my god, he's an above average defender. He's got a good size. Fuck, I hate everything. I hate talking right now. Stop saying good, Matt. He's just a really all right player. I like Trey Murphy. I like Trey Murphy a lot. He's also got bounce. He's another sneaky bounce guy. Like, he can jump out the gym. He's got some sneaky underrated dunks this year that are pretty impressive. And on top of that, he's a good off-the-ball mover, and he can shoot the lights out. I mean, he can shoot the lights out the gym. He's just that. He's really damn good, and I think on any other team, they would cherish him. In New Orleans, he just doesn't get the shine that he deserves. Julius Randle is a little underrated. I don't know. I actually think he's fairly rated. No one is out here calling Julius Randle the best power forward in ball. He has his Julius Randle moments where he either looks unstoppable, like an unstoppable force in the paint. There's legit games where Julius Randle is shouldered into chest, layup every possession. There's other games where Julius Randle is driving into 5 people and turning the ball over 8 times. And I believe he had a game like last week where he shot like 4 of 13 and had like 6 turnovers. The turnovers is exaggerative, but I'm pretty sure he did have like a 4 of 13 shooting game. I'm mixing up the 2 games. He had 5 turnovers against Houston, but against somebody else he shot 4 of 13. So Randle is a decent player, but every once in a while he's very prone to driving into traffic. That's Julius Randle's like trick is just driving into 4 people. He'll somehow find 6 defenders in the paint, and motherfucker, there's only 5 people on the court. That's just Julius Randle for you, though. I love the guy, but like we also acknowledge that sometimes he plays like power forward Russell Westbrook. He will drive into a crowd. Jalen Johnson is just overrated in my view. This is a guy who is putting up a ton of triple doubles and is a really good player in his own right. But I don't think he's like this generational star that the Hawks need to build around immediately. I think if you build around Jalen Johnson, you won't end up much higher than you currently are, right? They have a good roster around him, not a bad roster around him at all. Of course, they suck at rebounding, but Jalen Johnson, since he's ascended into like this upper echelon triple-double machine type of guy, his defense sucks. Plain and simple. He does not play it anymore. Letting up back cuts like it's fucking free. You know, he isn't a great defender because of the fact that he has to carry a lot of the offensive load now. I'm not sure if it's because of that or just because, like, punt defense. I don't know. Maybe that's just how he's feeling is fuck defense. Part of being a franchise guy is the fact that everything falls on you now. You know, nobody's going to be able to blame Trae Young on a loss anymore. They let up 140 points to Boston, but Trae Young was the problem with their defense. Brian Scalabrine called that one out on broadcast. If you were watching that game, that was a funny one. Jalen Johnson is a fine player, but I don't think he's this, like, elite, you know, ceiling mover that they've been calling him for a while, it feels. Piece skills is still underrated. Always will be. I don't know how else to describe it. He's a guy that has been to the finals twice now and is 1-1 in them, but damn near could add 2 finals. Early in his career, still kind of. He's a great player, and he's a good locker room leader. It's just the Pacers stink right now. And so a lot of the stuff Pascal doesn't really get talked about. He's had some really good games this year. Norman Powell's still a little overrated because, like, people think this is a guy that you can really build your team around or whatever. He's 32. He's a smaller guard who can still defend a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not the guy that I'm hinging my offense on. And I think that's kind of where my issue with it is the fact that the Heat are currently like treating him like he's their best scorer, because he probably is. And I don't know how much I like that. Norm is a really good player. I just think he's very one-dimensional. This isn't a guy who's going to get you 7 assists. You know, this isn't a guy who's going to get you 7 rebounds or 8 rebounds. This is a guy who's going to get you like 35, 2, and 3. That's a Norm Powell stat line. And you can scoring is very valuable in this league. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. He's an all-star caliber guy, but I don't think he's a ceiling mover. Keontae George is still underrated. He should be the most improved player this year. The guy's averaging 25 and 7 or something like that. Like, insane in numbers. Video game numbers he puts up some nights. Tough shot maker. Incredible mid-range scorer. Good rim finisher despite being very small. Another one where it's like his team doesn't get a lot of shine, so he doesn't. But Keontae George is an incredible talent, and I think he's the best. He damn near, in my opinion, might be. He's the only reason I turn on Jazz games. While I love the big guy down here, the Finnish guy that I'm moving, I turn on Jazz games hoping Keontae gets 40. That's just why I'm watching. I'm a selfish Keontae George enjoyer. Devin Booker's a little underrated. He's having a really good year. He just can't shoot the three that well this year, but like in terms of scoring, they've needed him to be a refined scorer. And what he does, he's finding his way into the paint more. I don't think he's shooting a ton of layups and stuff, but he's getting 2 feet into the paint more and causing the defense to crash in and then spraying out the shooters. That's the right approach. He's just making the right decision a lot of times this year, and he's not forcing it. Like, he fits this team really well. They have good defenders with him that can help him, and he's a good playmaker. Devin Booker is I think he's just going to be underrated his whole career, except for the few years where he had Chris Paul and they were going to the finals and stuff like that. But right now, Phoenix having a great year, and you hear about Dillon Brooks, you hear about Colin Gillespie because he's a most improved type of guy. You hear about Mark Williams and his personal improvements. You don't hear much about how Devin Booker's having another really good all-star caliber year. It's just his three-point shooting's been rough. Big Mike Porter is properly rated at this moment because everyone knows he's killing in Brooklyn. He's getting infinite shot attempts. He is their version of like a Keontae George or a Norman Powell or someone like that where it's like, get buckets. They send him out there and they tell him, your job is to get 30. If you drop less than 30, you've been disappointing tonight. If he gets on a contending team, you know what to expect. A good guy, a good shooter that comes around curls and down screens and off-ball screens and everything like that, flares, all this shit. He loves to dance around the three-point line because he's a really good three-point shooter, and he can dribble a little bit, get in the mid-range and hit some mid-range shots, or even get down to the rim. He's got good size too, and he rebounds well. He's averaging over 7 a game. MPJ is a very good player, very talented player, and there's no doubt he's an all-star in my mind this year. It's just people know who he is. He spent a lot of time in Denver in the spotlight. James Harden is going right back to underrated. He does have some playoff lowlights, but at this current stage in his career, dude, the fact that he's able to lead this Clippers team that hasn't had Kawhi in a few games now because of his injury, he's day-to-day or whatever, the fact that he's still like the second best player on a team that has surged recently into almost 500 again, it's quite incredible to watch, and the beard is like the biggest reason why next to Kawhi Leonard. They've been really good. Sure, his defense is kind of mid this year at times, but it's because he has to control the offense. I mean, this is a guy that he pulls all the strings. He's the puppet master. He's the 10 assist guy that they need. Cade Cunningham is a top 5. I'd put him in the top 10 players in basketball comfortably. I'd have to flesh it out in front of me, but he's a top 10 player in basketball in my mind. I'd say Luka, Shea. I wouldn't put Maxey in front of him. I don't even think I'd put Jaylen Brown in front of Cade Cunningham. I'd put Ant in front of him. I'd put Jokic in front of him. Who else would I put? Steph, maybe. Who else am I thinking that can go in front of him? Is Brunson better than Cade? Can I do that? I don't know. I'd definitely say Cade Cunningham is a top 10 player in basketball. They have the second best record in the league, the Detroit Pistons do. And he is the engine. He's the engine. Don't disrespect. He should be top 5. I think he should finish top at least 7 in MVP voting this year. And I know nobody cares about the guy who finished 8th in MVP voting, but Cade Cunningham deserves it. Jamal Murray is, I have to call him underrated still, but he's going to make the All-Star game this year, and he's having an incredible year. He's leading their team without Jokic. Their win pace without Jokic is actually higher than their win pace with Jokic this season. Food for thought. Is Jokic just a system player? Tom Brady-esque? I don't know. Just some food for thought. I'm joking, Nuggets fans. Relax. Jamal has led them every time they've needed him this year. They've needed him to take steps up this year because MPJ is gone, and now all the injuries, Brown, Gordon, Brown, Gordon, Jokic, Valanciunas, everybody is hurt for them, and they've needed Jamal Murray, and he's been insanely good. Him closing out the Wizards, like, tough shot after tough shot. He takes like 4 free throws a game. Tough shot after tough shot to close out the Wizards the other night. That was what do they call that? A master class, or yeah, I guess a master class in tough shot making. Kevin Durant is properly rated. He's a bucket. That's what Kevin Durant is. He's one of the easiest, most casual buckets in the NBA who plays a good defense. Like, he plays some decent defense here and there. He's a good rim protector because he is 7 feet. But he's a decent enough defender, and he's a scorer. In the wise words of Kevin Durant, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. I don't want to talk about this guy. I'm going to put him in a little underrated because I don't want the smoke, but last time I talked about that guy, there was a lot of mad people in my comments, and I don't want to deal with that again. I'm not going gladiator and pulling out the sword against an army of 500. That's just not happening. I think he's a really good player. He's an all-star caliber player, but I don't want to talk about that guy. Steph Curry, at this stage in his career, just is underrated. I think it's more underappreciated. And again, it makes me sick because, again, I hate the Warriors. Actually, everyone on their team I actively dislike for the most part. Not everyone. That's kind of a exaggeration. But, like, I'm not a Steph Curry guy. I'm a Celtics fan. Why would I like Steph Curry? Why? Give me one reason, right? I don't like Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler, if I'm going to use the 2022 finals as a reason to hate Steph Curry, what do you think I'm going to do with Jimmy Butler for the bubble? And every other year he's found the conference finals with a shitty roster and somehow brought the Celtics to 7. What do you want me to say? I don't like either one of these guys, but I still think that they're both really good players. And the fact that the Warriors are mid, it's not their fault at all. It's the fact that Mike Dunleavy Jr. is sitting up in his office with a finger up his nose going, should I trade Jonathan Kuminga for a second-round pick? It's not Curry's fault or Jimmy Butler's fault or even Draymond. It's a little bit of Draymond Green's fault, but it's not like the main two, the big two guys there, it's not their fault that team is not great. It's roster construction purely. Lauri Markkanen is underrated. I literally just said the only reason I tune into Jazz games is to watch Keontae George, but again, Lauri Markkanen's 10th in scoring in the NBA per game. I can't argue with that, and I think me saying 10th and seeing him 10th in scoring actually was a moment where I was like, holy shit, he might be underrated. Guy's top 10. Top 10 in scoring is crazy. Kawhi is properly rated. Aimbot, when Aimbot gets going, he's not stoppable. He's just not stoppable. There's some games where Kawhi is just shooting over contests. You can jump contest, slap his wrist. He's making it. He's making it. It doesn't matter. When Aimbot is on, Aimbot is an exciting watch. Jalen Brunson is actually a little bit underrated because of how, I'm going to be honest, how stink the Knicks have been the last few years without him, I feel like. I'm not sure what their record is, but I feel like it hasn't been a great one without Jalen Brunson. Actually, OG Anunoby kind of helped carry the load last year when he was out from what I remember. But, like, watching a Knicks game when Jalen Brunson's not playing sometimes can be borderline hard to watch. It can be. He is an engine. He's just like Cade Cunningham in the sense that he's an engine. I'm going to sit them right next to each other because if you ask me who the best point guard in the East is, it's really between those two. Donovan Mitchell is properly rated. People recognize that, like, his playoff resume speaks for itself. He's a bucket who scored 40 countless times. I mean, countless. The amount of times Donovan Mitchell scored 40 is over 100, it feels like. He's an unstoppable scorer when he gets going. I love that little move he does where he drives into the lane, he cuffs the ball, goes over like that, and then goes with a floater. He does it so often. I don't even know what to call that move, but it's kind of like a Euro step where he literally grips the ball and then brings it over the top of the defender and then goes to a float. If Cavs fans or people that like Donovan Mitchell know exactly what move I'm talking about, it's unstoppable. He shoots 100% on it, I swear to God. I just realized I'm a fucking idiot, guys. That says underrated at the top. I'm so late in this video, and I'm just now realizing that I didn't fucking write the right thing. Oh my God, bro. Hope you guys understand that this was supposed to be overrated the whole time. And why didn't you guys tell me that? Why wouldn't you tell me that? Come on, man. You're really doing me dirty. No, I'm sorry. Wow. That's sad. All right. Well, Nikola Jokic is actually properly rated because yeah, he's just that guy. He's averaging a triple-double. He was leading the league in assists and rebounding before his injury. Guys don't do that very often, you know? And on top of that, he's like top 8 in scoring. Players don't do this very often, right? He's an insane player, Nikola Jokic is. He's just insane. And the Nuggets need him back because while they're really good without him, I feel like they'd be better with him. Ant-Man is properly rated as well. Of course, his deficiency is like conference finals. Getting past the conference finals. That's like the one knock in his game is the fact that he hasn't advanced to a finals yet. And that's because he's running to buzzsaws every year. I love Anthony Edwards, dude. I'm being painted as an Anthony Edwards hater recently. And I'm not, right? I'm not. I think he's a very talented player. He gets to the rim at will. There's games where Anthony Edwards deadass gets mad late game and just decides, fuck this, I'm going to go dunk everything. I've seen that happen countless times late in games where he's like, dude, I'm not going up for layups in a 1-point game with a minute and a half left. I'm dunking this no matter what. He shoots from everywhere well. From 3, he's money. From the mid-range, he's money. There isn't a weakness in his offensive bag. The only reason I've been called an Anthony Edwards hater is because I wouldn't give him clutch player of the fucking year. Does anyone care about that award? Again, nobody does. All right, Anthony Edwards is an amazing player. And the one thing that he needs on his team is a fucking point guard that can pass the ball. Can we get one in Minnesota, please? Jaylen Brown is properly rated because he still has his moments where he can go absolutely brain dead, it feels like. There's some moments where he turns into Julius Randle, but shooting guard edition, where he's driving into 4 people for no reason. He's on a fast break, and it's like he has another teammate with him. It's a 2-on-4 break. Why are you taking it to the rim, Jalen? I like the aggression. I like getting downhill. I don't like sometimes him driving into crowds. It's scary and it never works for him. He also has another free throw issue. That's another guy where it's like he's a strangely mid free throw shooter for how good of a player he is, and the fact that he's one of the best, if not the best mid-range scorer in the NBA right now, and he can't make a free throw consistently, that's weird. He's like a mid-70s free throw shooter if I had to guess, and he's an amazing mid-range shooter. He loves living at the free throw line for mid-range jumpers. But then he gets fouled, and he gets 2 free mid-range shots, and he misses both. I don't know. That shit is perplexing to me. Tyrese Maxey I'm putting in a little bit overrated, and the same reason I'm kind of putting Norman Powell there, except Tyrese Maxey is a way better scorer than Norm is. It's like, outside of that, I would like to see him impact the game more. I like pass Maxey. Tyrese passing. I like him when he's passing more. I love him as a scoring guard because that's what he is. But like sometimes I wish he would take over the game in a way where it's like getting other teammates involved. Like although I don't think he shot it the best, that Cleveland game, he felt like he was passing the ball so well. And it was a game where he didn't shoot the ball well, and he figured out I can impact this game not just by shooting. He can impact the game by passing. He had 9 assists, I believe. Like that's really good. And that's what I want to see out of my lead guard. Tyrese Maxey can get a bucket damn near at will. We know he can. I would like to see him get his teammates involved more. Be more of a point guard, not just a bucket, which is what he is right now. Even though he's one of the 4 or 5 best scorers in the league per game, I would like to see him be a little bit of a better passer, more well-rounded point guard. Shea and Luka are both going to go in properly rated because we all know they're top 5 players in basketball. That's just what they are. They've won. They've won games before, being masterful scorers. Luka's one of the best passers in basketball silently. The one thing that Shea has on Luka is the fact that Luka's a net negative defensively, and Shea's at least a net neutral. Like, Shea isn't the best defender in the world like some Thunder fans will try to get you to believe. He's not. But he is a good enough defender. Like, he is a justifiably good defender who can guard in one-on-one. You know, it's just all-star players. Sometimes they struggle to stay one-on-one defensively because they've been carrying the offensive load. And that's kind of what both of these guys get tasked with. It's just Shea does it better. Notice I put all the top 5, like the top 5 players in basketball in like one row. Am I ducking the smoke? Maybe. If you enjoyed this video, you should like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching me lose my mind. I'm going to catch a game. See you guys in the next one.